The departmental government is carrying out the collection and removal of debris left by Hurricane Julia in order to have all the roads of the department ready in the shortest time possible.
With crews in the most affected sectors, the departmental government, headed by the Secretariat of Public Services, carries out the removal of debris to enable the various public roads that were affected after the passage of Hurricane Julia. The head of the portfolio said that so far they have intervened educational facilities, the downtown area of the island, among other main roads of high vehicular traffic.
As the community has evidenced, we are working on the fastest and most effective way to ensure the initial clearing of roads. We have removed fallen trees, and today we are in the downtown sector. We invite the downtown community to be attentive to the collection that will take place in this area. We have already cleared educational facilities that have been affected by fallen trees, and we continue in the downtown sector, and later we will go to the residential sectors.
On the other hand, the Secretary of Public Services, Asville Bryan, calls on the community not to continue opening the sanitary sewer manholes, which collapsed because they were filled with debris and waste.
District 4, by nature, is a vulnerable sector due to the physical characteristics of the soil. We have had some damage to the sanitary sewer pipe. This is due to the lifting of the manhole covers. That is why we call the attention of the people who do this, who seek to evacuate the rainwater, because what this does is aggravate the situation.
The Environmental Corporation began the implementation of restoration protocols studied by the National University to deal with emergencies. Here we tell you about it.
As part of the interinstitutional response of hurricanes, the Environmental Corporation is working on the implementation of the restoration protocols provided by the National University. These protocols were the result of studies carried out after the passage of Hurricanes Eta and Iota in the island region.
The Coralina Environmental Corporation, with which we have met, has already begun to make this rapid assessment at the level of the main terrestrial and marine ecosystems. This is also the result of a joint work that we have been doing with them to generate those protocols of what we should do before, during, and after, and to know how to implement the evaluation, restoration, and monitoring work.
In the same way, the rapid assessments of environmental impact observed after the natural phenomenon have already started. This will allow us to articulate actions with the Ministry of Environment and Sustainable Development through the National Environmental System.
During the events of Hurricane Julia, one of the hotels of Cotelco Archipelago branch was evacuated and directed with its guests to other hotels belonging to the association. The president of Cotelco expressed his opinion on the matter through a press release.
The president of the Archipelago branch of Cotelco, Juan Carlos Osorio, informed that after the passage of Hurricane Julia, the hotels affiliated to the Guild developed their activities, arguing that before, during, and after the phenomenon, their main goals were to take care of the tourists and employees through the activation of all the security protocols and complying with the guidelines of the departmental government. In this way, the evacuation of a hotel located in Zone Bay was achieved, where passengers were received by other affiliated hotels. On the other hand, the Pirate Morgan Hotel in Old Providence set up its lounge as a shelter for the reception of those who needed refuge on the sister island.
The report that we delivered today is of duty fulfilled, 0 incidents to regret, and after 2 days the hotels are 100% ready to continue fulfilling their commitments of reservations. We thank the excellent management of the risk management and the departmental government headed by Dr. Everett Harkins, as well as the police commander, Colonel Doris Edith Monsalva. There will always be actions for continuous improvement, but the love for the islands allows us to mobilize efficiently. This is how we strategically manage to mitigate the damage caused by the passage of the hurricane.
The president of the Hotel Guild urged visitors to get to know the island of San Andres, which is prepared with the hotels of Cotelco to receive them.
And the Secretary of Public Utilities responded to the call made by residents of the El Cibar neighborhood regarding the access to the unpaved road in this sector.
In previous days, residents of El Cibar through Teleislas news screen expressed their non-conformity about the access road to the sector. According to them, the entrance and exit to and from their residences has become a difficult crossing because of the narrowing of the road due to the vegetation that grows on the sides and the condition of the road when it rains.
You can notice you have a lot of bush in here. A lot of bush. We can't come out here. The other day I passing and I coming out and a car coming in, and I had to draw up inside the bush to get out. We need to come and make maintenance. We can help make maintenance, but it's not a lot of us that live this side, but a lot of people pass here. Yeah, no, a lot of people come across here, tourists, residents that need to get outside and catch a bus, that need to go to town. We need the government to come and make maintenance on this place and fix the road because we need it.
In response to this request, the Secretary of Public Services said,
It is important to ask the community for a little patience since the crews have been designated to some other work and to anti-hurricane prevention activities in other sectors that are more vulnerable to flooding. So the crews have been in prevention processes, and the days prior to the passage of Hurricane Julia, the areas most affected were on display. Therefore, in the coming days, the crews of the government will be going to perform pruning and take off of these sectors.
The Secretary also invited owners of some of the lots adjacent to the main road in the sector to intervene and perform the forest cleaning of their land.
We invite the people from the community who are owners of the different lots to carry out the corresponding clearing of these areas, and in that way they can also contribute to the clearing of spaces, which is necessary at this time.
For his part, the Secretary of Infrastructure, who is not in the island due to his work duties, said that soon a street cleaning will begin.
And the departmental government highlights that during the passage of a natural phenomenon, the homes in the Schooner Bight sector that benefit from solar panels were able to have energy service during the power outage.
200 families managed to have solar energy through the solar panels installed by the departmental government during the different outages that happened through and after the emergency, as reported by the Secretary of Public Services.
Es algo bastante positivo para nosotros.
It is something positive for us as a departmental government to inform you that the community of Schooner Bight, which benefited 200 families with solar panels during the blackouts that occurred while Hurricane Julia passing through, these houses precisely that have these panels installed had energy service, solar energy in this case. It is something quite positive. These people had access to the connection and were able to follow up on the transmissions made by the governor.
It is emphasized that solar energy contributes to the environment, so the government aims to try to extend this benefit to more island families.
This is an environmentally friendly tool. It is alternative energy, which we hope to continue implementing in other sectors of the island.
And San Andres was named in the top 5 of the most beautiful islands in Central and South America, according to the Reader's Choice Awards 2022, an award selected 100% by readers of the magazine. The tourism publication Condé Nast Traveler, the organizer of the award, ranked San Andres number 2 in the top 5 with a score of 88.33 out of 100 points. Only below the first place that went to Fernando de Noronha in Brazil. In third place was Roatan Island in Honduras. Fourth place was occupied by Ambergris in Belize. And closing at the top are the Galapagos Island in Ecuador. It is hoped that the new award will continue to position the islands as one of the favorite destinations for international tourism and thus contribute to the local economy of the archipelago. other news, music and literature take over the archipelago of San Andres, Providence, and Santa Catalina. Today, the Insular Book Fair begins to show art and culture.
In alliance with the Green Moon Festival, the Insular Book Fair started today and will last for 5 days, where art and culture will be showcased. It should be noted that the Philsci this year allied with the best of accomplices, the Green Moon Festival, and have music and literature as a central thematic line, which is seen as an unforgettable experience in which musicians and writers join knowledge to combat indifference and cultural disconnection.
Por primera vez se embarca.
For the first time, literature and music embark on the same boat to take over the corners of San Andres, Providence, and Santa Catalina. The central image of the event is a landscape photography by the poet Maria Matilde Rodriguez, also the director. Philsci is aligned with the Green Moon. All activities will be complemented with lots of music and interesting concerts. We will have talks with national and international guests.
This fair will feature the voices of renowned writers, oral storytellers, playwrights, and musicians who will be the protagonists. The exhibition of the publishers that accepted the challenge of participating in this adventure and the workshops aimed at the educational community of the islands will be held from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the headquarters of the Cultural Center of the Bank of the Republic.
And in this week of school break, the departmental government is waiting for high visit in the Archipelago Department.
This Monday, October 10th, the school break week officially began in Colombia, a season where there is a peak in the influx of visitors to the department. Although the passage of Hurricane Julia by San Andres caused delays in flights, the destination maintains a high number of visitors arriving to the island. This was confirmed by the Secretary of the Tourism Portfolio.
During this week, we have prepared 32 daily flights, including the 6 from Old Providence, which increased one frequency. It went from 5 to 6 daily flights for this week. This shows the economic activation that the neighboring municipalities having and the arrival of tourists and the need to open this other flight to Providence. We knew that there were tourists who were trying to come since last week. Their flights were rescheduled for this week. Apart from the phenomenon of flights, we will be working with the Secretariat of Culture in the realization of a Cultural Friday. This week in the Morgan Cannon Square, there will be fair table, typical music, and we will be offering a little bit of our culture and tradition to our tourists.
After the passage of Hurricane Julia, the Gustavo Rojas Pinilla Airport, as well as the main beaches of the island, are ready to receive visitors. Attractions such as Haynes P will be closed due to damage to the pier infrastructure.
And now it's time for sport news with Victor Fusalba.
Hello, here are the best sports of the island. Loma Rouge baseball team travels to the city of Panama. The Loma Rouge baseball team traveled to Panama representing the insular archipelago after being crowned champions of the Children's Summer League tournament held at the Eduardo Castro Stadium. Teacher Laudine Smith received an invitation from the academy to participate in the tournament in Panama City as an incentive. A trip sponsored by the departmental government and the sports secretariat that served as an incentive and experience to these future Islanders baseball players. With more detail, Prof. Laudine Smith told us.
We have a trip to Panama from the 7th of October until the 14th. We did have academic over there that invite us to go and participate with them. 14, our team will make the 15. So we will leave out from here on Friday and we'll return the 14th of October. That's going to help them in a lot of things because we here in San Andres, especially my kids on the hill, them only see things right around them. So you have to carry them out that they can incentivize themselves and have an interest to be a better person in life. So when them go outside and them see a different thing from what them see in home, then we'll be better in life, in all sense in the sport also.
The exchanges and scrimmage of the children play a very important role in their formation as baseball players. One more experience for the little players of the Loma Roots with this participation in the tournament in Panama. And in other course, some coaches are seeking to have children active with the training process in sports. A coach who continues to work with his seedlings and is concerned about the welfare of children in sport is Waldir Vasquez, who continues his training process seeking to keep children active in the sport of basketball. Waldir Vasquez gave us more details.
The truth is, the idea of this is to try to keep young people always active in the sport, in the same way to work the processes of the youngsters, which is composed of older and even the younger players. It is a seedbed that I have been training. The idea of this is not to let the youngsters deviate from us and to keep them in the good ways of the sport. It is a club that I have called Club the Town. It will always be there. Picking up now after the hurricane and having activities with them in every category, that's the idea of it.
Basketball is a healthy sport that entertains the children and youth of the department.
Basketball is my passion. I love this sport. Girls and boys, we invite you to play the best sport, basketball.
And this will be all in sports for tonight. We continue with another broadcast. Lisa.
Thank you, Victor. And with sport news, we reach to the end of this broadcast, but we see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. with more of Teleislas News. Good night.